Our homes should be places of peace, safety, and God's presence. But what if there were hidden objects inside that could actually invite dark influences? Today, we're diving into 8 common items that could be demonic conduits, subtly introduced by Satan to undermine a Christian household. If you find any of these, it's time to remove them instantly. Satan is known as the deceiver, and his tactics are often subtle, hidden in things that appear harmless or even appealing. The Bible warns us that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces in dark realms. Yet, it's easy to overlook how these forces can find their way into our lives through the objects we allow in our homes. Many items we bring into our space are meant to bring beauty, comfort, or even a sense of protection. But some of these objects can act as doorways to negative spiritual influences. Satan thrives on deception, using objects that look innocent as conduits for his schemes, gradually taking advantage of the small ways we let our guard down. A decorative piece, a cultural symbol, or even a gift from a friend could hold meanings or associations we might not be aware of, giving the enemy a foothold. Through these subtle openings, darkness can creep in and begin to disrupt our peace, influence our thoughts, and sow seeds of negativity or even fear in our homes. We often think of spiritual warfare as distant, something fought outside the walls of our homes. But Satan's attacks are often personal and targeted, using things that are closest to us, things that we might never suspect. By being mindful of what we bring into our lives and homes, we can take a stand against these schemes, fortifying our environment and making our space a sanctuary dedicated to God. In this video, we'll uncover the kinds of items that could pose a spiritual threat, helping you to discern what belongs in a Christ-centered home and what might be subtly pulling you away from God's peace. First on our list are dream catchers. Originating in Native American culture, dream catchers were designed to filter out bad dreams, letting only good ones pass through. Today, many see them as decorative items or even protective charms. But for Christians, this reliance on objects for protection can be spiritually confusing. The Bible reminds us repeatedly to trust in God alone for our peace and safety, not in charms or symbols. When we place our faith in physical items, we risk opening the door to mixed beliefs where our reliance on God may waver. Dream catchers, while often beautiful and appealing, can subtly draw us into a mindset that looks beyond God for comfort and security. Scriptures remind us that God alone is our protector, the one who watches over our sleep and guards our lives. Psalm 4:8 says, "In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety." Our peace and protection are complete in Him, without the need for any intermediary objects. So, while dream catchers may seem harmless, they can blur the lines between cultural symbolism and spiritual reliance, inviting unnecessary influences into our homes. Sage has long been valued for its natural antibacterial and purifying properties, but when it's used for spiritual cleansing, it takes on a very different role. Many believe that burning sage can clear a space of negative energies, a practice rooted in various spiritual traditions. However, for Christians, relying on burning sage for spiritual purity or protection can invite influences that draw attention away from God's power and presence. The Bible teaches us that our true cleansing and protection come through Christ alone, not through rituals, objects, or substances. It is through Him that we find peace, purity, and divine protection. Burning sage for any reason beyond its natural uses can blur the line between natural remedy and spiritual ritual, drawing us away from the foundation of our faith. John 14:27 says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives." Our peace and protection are gifts from God, requiring no added rituals or objects. Just as in prayer, we invite God's presence into our spaces and hearts directly, seeking his strength to guard our homes and lives from spiritual distractions. Let's remember that the only true purification comes from Christ's redeeming power, a gift we receive freely with nothing else required. Tarot cards, often advertised as tools for personal insight and guidance, have become popular among those seeking answers about their lives, relationships, and futures. But in reality, these cards open the door to divination, an attempt to gain knowledge or control over the unknown, something the Bible strictly warns against. In Deuteronomy 18:10 through 12, God calls practices like divination detestable, emphasizing that his people are to seek guidance from him alone. Engaging with tarot cards can subtly lead believers away from relying on God, shifting their trust to occult practices that seek insight from sources outside of his divine wisdom. For Christians, the Bible provides a clear path for understanding our lives and decisions. God has given us his word as a wellspring of wisdom, guidance, and direction. Proverbs 3:5 through 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." When we look to God for insight, we find wisdom rooted in love, truth, and light, guidance that protects us from deception and harm. Tarot cards may seem harmless, but they open spiritual doors that can lead us down paths far removed from God's purpose and peace. Crystals, admired for their beauty and unique qualities, have become popular in spiritual and healing practices, often believed to channel energy or bring peace and wellness. However, when we rely on these stones for healing or spiritual alignment, we risk creating idols that replace our trust in God. In the Bible, God is repeatedly presented as the ultimate source of strength, comfort, and healing, and placing our faith in objects for these needs can subtly lead our hearts away from him. Isaiah 44:9-10 reminds us of the futility of idols. All who make idols are nothing, and the things they treasure are worthless. Turning to God for healing and restoration brings us into relationship with the Creator, who understands our needs and provides true, lasting peace. As Jeremiah 17:14 says, "Heal me, Lord, and I will be healed. Save me, and I will be saved, for you are the one I praise." Crystals, although naturally beautiful, cannot replace the power and peace found through a connection with Christ. When we depend on God alone, we align ourselves with his divine wisdom, finding comfort and strength that no object or stone can provide. Religious statues created to honor saints or significant figures of faith are often found in homes and places of worship. While these statues may serve as reminders of faith, they can inadvertently lead to idolatry when they become the focus of our reverence. The Bible is clear about the dangers of placing too much emphasis on physical objects in our spiritual lives. In Exodus 24:5, God commands, "You shall not make for yourself a carved image. You shall not bow down to them or serve them." This directive serves as a reminder that our devotion belongs to God alone. For Christians, a relationship with Christ isn't strengthened through physical objects, but through prayer, worship, and daily connection with him. When statues or icons become central to our faith, they risk overshadowing our direct relationship with God, making it essential to ensure that our worship remains pure and focused. Jesus himself taught in John 4:24, "God is spirit, and his worshippers must worship in the spirit and in truth." True faith thrives on a personal connection with God that transcends any physical representation. Our homes are filled with items that shape our thoughts, beliefs, and even our spiritual well-being. When we bring in literature that promotes anti-Christian or occult themes, we allow subtle yet impactful influences into our lives. Books filled with dark or immoral themes may seem harmless at first, but they can shift our perspectives over time, dulling our spiritual sensitivity. In Philippians 4:8, Paul reminds us to focus on whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right. If anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. The same applies to toys. For children, toys that depict dark or demonic characters may start as mere playthings, but can desensitize young minds to the reality of spiritual warfare and darkness. Toys shape early perceptions and attitudes, so it's vital to fill young lives with positive, uplifting influences. Finally, jewelry items like the evil eye or Masonic rings, often believed to offer protection, can subtly encourage trust in material symbols rather than in God's power. These objects may hold cultural significance or beauty, but if they distract us from putting our faith in God, they can be a stumbling block. Deuteronomy 7:26 advises, "Do not bring a detestable thing into your house, or you, like it, will be set apart for destruction. Regard it as vile and utterly detest it, for it is set apart for destruction." Let's be cautious to ensure that nothing we wear or bring into our homes diverts our trust away from God. Our homes are more than just places to live. They are sacred spaces where our faith and daily lives intertwine. To protect our homes spiritually, it's essential to remove items that may serve as conduits for negative influences. This act isn't just about clearing objects, it's a declaration of our commitment to God and our desire for a home filled with His peace and presence. Start with prayer. Dedicate each room to God, asking for His protection and blessing over everyone who enters. This intentional act of faith transforms our homes into sanctuaries where His presence is felt in every corner. We can replace troubling items with reminders of His Word, filling our spaces with scriptures that inspire and strengthen us each day. Philippians 4:7 reminds us that the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. When we make our homes places of worship and reflection, we invite that peace to dwell within our walls. By removing objects that might detract from our focus on God and filling our space with symbols of His love and truth, we are actively inviting His protection into our lives. Our homes become more than mere shelters. They become true sanctuaries where our spirits are refreshed, our faith is nourished, and our hearts find rest. Our homes are sacred spaces, reflections of our faith and commitment to God. As we choose what to bring into our homes, let's be mindful, selecting only what honors and draws us closer to Him. Removing items that may disrupt that peace is not just an act of faith, it's an invitation for God's presence to dwell with us daily. Together, we can make our homes places of refuge, filled with reminders of His love, grace, and strength. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Bible Stories official channel. By sharing these messages, we're building a community dedicated to living a Christ-centered life. Let's keep creating homes that welcome His presence and glorify His name.